Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about my condition. With that being said, now let's get into this video over. Hey little baby, so today's video is going to be on my condition. The reason why I made this video about is because I follow a beauty guru. Her name is Jordan Bone. I mean, Jordans are just like the shit or whatever. She is also in a wheelchair. I will link her story down below so you guys can go check that out. The condition that I have is called osteogenesis imperfecta. Yes, it is a very long word. I'm going to be using the initials OI throughout the video. So there are 7 different types. I have type 3. Basically, it means that there is a genetic mutation in the genes, and my bones just do not grow like everyone else's. So, different characteristics of this condition are your height. Like, I'm really, really short. Like, when people say, "How tall are you?" I'm like, I'm not tall, I'm short. We do have the white part of our eye. It's called your sclera. Sometimes it's blue, purple, gray, and that means that there's a change in the weather. That means that we are more prone to injuring ourselves. My mom found out that I had this condition when she was 26 weeks in utero. They told her that it was either dwarfism or this condition. They also told her that she had an option to abort if she wanted to. I was definitely not a normal child. I am not a normal person. Whenever I was born, I was the only patient at the time with the condition. So it was very difficult for doctors to kind of, I guess, pinpoint what to do medically. I was delivered via C-section at 36 weeks. I was delivered C-section. And every part of my body was broken. Every bone was. I was in the hospital, like in the NICU, for about a month and a half. My mom said, and then she took me home. But doctors did let her know that if she took me home, I would just sit in a chair and I would be blind and I would be deaf and I wouldn't talk. I would just sit in a chair. I wouldn't know that she was there or my sisters, or always look at a doctor to this day and say, "Hey, guess how old I am today?" Because they given me multiple lifespans. I turned 17, they just stopped. Because, I mean, obviously I'm not going anywhere. So, the question I get asked a lot, which is really weird, is how do I go to the restroom? So, I go to the restroom just as the same as you. I mean, obviously, if you're a guy, I don't go to this pee the same way because I don't stand up to pee. I sit my ass on the toilet. I go to the restroom. And then, go do my business. I don't necessarily need help with a lot of things. As I've gotten older, I have just learned to adapt to a lot of things. When I was younger, however, it was very difficult. I remember when I was a baby, my dad was, patting me, burping me, and my arm fell off his shoulder and it broke. I was in like kindergarten playing in the sand, went like that, my wrist broke. But whenever I turned 10, they put me on an IV-based infused medication. And this medicine was to really just give me more calcium in my bones so that my bones would be stronger. They tell you to drink milk whenever you're younger. Baby, I drink milk all the time, and I'm still the same height, so. So I have not been on that medicine in about 2 years. And since then, I want to say I've only broken maybe 4 times in 2 years. Since I stopped taking my medication, however, I did start smoking cannabis a lot. I know people always have a negative incentive on cannabis and the way that it's used and the way that it's grown and things of that nature. However, I can tell you right now, I am living, breathing proof that it has benefited me in more ways than one. I have depression, I have anxiety. On top of the bone condition, I also have chronic pain. Times I do have a lot of pain just for no reason. And I don't really like pain medicine. My entire life I've been in pain, so I have been on the very top, the highest dosage of medication my entire life. So when the doctors prescribe me something, I'm just like, let me go home and smoke a blunt and I'll be good. Because that's how I live my life. I do have rods in my legs to make them straight. Otherwise, they would be a little crooked, like my arms. I did have an option to get my arms straightened whenever I was younger, but I refused. I like my arms. I feel like they make me me, and if I didn't have them like that, then it's not me. Duh. I do get a lot of like weird questions. I get people just staring at me. I get weird everything. It's too much sometimes. It's too much. Too much. So back to why I decided to make this video in the first place. The makeup artist that I did see, her name is Jordan Bone. She is paralyzed, if I'm not mistaken, from the waist down, and she doesn't have very much motor functions in her hands. She calls her story her beautiful struggle, and it is very difficult. And if you do not have a disability or a speciality where you understand a person's pain, you won't be able to understand how, how it feels. I myself completely understand how she feels because it's very difficult for me to do a lot of things. It's difficult for me to brush my hair. It's difficult for me to get dressed sometimes. It's difficult to make sure all of my foundation is blended and everything is flawless, and it is difficult, and sometimes I do just want to sit in a corner and cry, but I'm not that person, and my mom did not raise that type of a person. I wanted to make this video to let people know that you should feel lucky and you should feel privileged that you can do things. I cannot ride a roller coaster. I have always wanted to ride a roller coaster, but I don't ever reach a height requirement on anything, so I don't go on rides, and I'm just too short for it. And it's a struggle, but I have to live with every day. And whenever you are literally the size of a 3-year old, it's kind of difficult sometimes, you know? It's kind of difficult. There are a lot of different factors with my condition that I've learned over the years, and now that there's more medicine and there's more research and things like that, it's helpful for me now as an adult to help other kids. I have met quite a few people and just sharing their stories and having their parents come up to me and they're like, positive and you're so happy. Like, how are you so happy? Like, what's, ah? And I'm just like, yeah, that's me. I'm a happy mess. Always laughing, always positive, because at the end of the day, that's just how you have to be. When I was younger, I remember I was in fifth grade. I had a very serious accident with my sister. She was carrying me and she had a seizure and we both fell. Whenever we fell, I did bounce a few feet away from her and I ended up breaking my nose, cracking my skull, broke my arm, my legs, broke some ribs, and the only thing that I obviously cared about was my sister, and vice versa. It was really terrifying, to be honest with you. I've never been in a situation like that before, and it was very, very scary. I did have a concussion, and I remember little things. I remember being on the floor and I remember going like this to my nose and seeing blood and just panicking instantly. My head was pounding so, profusely, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Went like this and there's blood and I'm still freaking out at this point. And I was lifted on the gurney and placed in the ambulance. I rode in the ambulance with my mom and I kind of remember just little things, kind of, I was in and out. She was like, tell me about your day, what are you doing, and what did you do today? And part of my brain was already like not comprehending at that point. And so I was just like, talk to her, but I was like just so out of it. We get to the emergency room and my grandmother's already there. She like rushed there. Um, and I'm crying because I have a weird obsession with my nose. That's a story for another time, but I have a weird obsession with my nose and I think it's too big. So whenever I broke it, I was upset that it was going to be bigger. Yeah. I was crying because I was like, my nose is broken, Grandma. Like, oh my god, it's terrible. I was in surgery for a while. I woke up in casts. I had a horrible black eye. Um, it was just terrible. It was horrible. The way that I fell, I was about 2 inches from an incline, and if I would have fell up 2 inches to the left, I would have snapped my neck, and I would not be here telling you the story. Prior to all of this in school, I was a very quiet person, just in my personality. I was a very funny and loving, caring person, but I was very quiet. I didn't have very many friends. Um, I just didn't like people because I was bullied my entire life. And so I didn't really have any friends. And after that moment, I just realized that I had a second chance. I guess while I was under anesthesia, I, at that moment, presumed that maybe something bad had happened because I remember seeing my best friend, third, fourth grade, when my best friend passed away, and I saw him, and I was like, dude, wow, I'm dead. That's instantly what I thought. I was like, and I remember him telling me, but it was not time yet. And when I did wake up, like I said, I had a black eye, did not know anything, and from that moment, it just made me realize that I'm here for a purpose. I don't know what it is yet, but my mom did not abort me when I was born. I didn't snap my neck like I could have, and so I'm here for a deeper meaning and purpose. Having 20 something years later, still haven't figured it out yet, but here I am. I do everything and anything everyone else does. I am a college student. I'm going to school for psychology and criminal justice. I have a job. Literally do anything and everything that everyone else does. I just do it a little bit differently. Um, that's really it, though. I know people sometimes do have questions about my condition and things like that, and I don't ever want anyone to be like, "Oh my God, don't ask that question." I have heard plenty of questions, and some of them are weird, and that's just the way life is. But whatever, baby. I do get questions like, how do you shower? I shower just like you, except like I'm on the floor because I'm short. That's like literally, that's it. I do climb in and out of my chair to do whatever I have to do. If it's on the floor, I just climb down, and there you go. I go out to the club, I go dancing, I drink, I swim. Like, I literally do anything and everything everyone else does. It's just different. I grocery shop. I don't drive. I do get that question a lot. I don't drive. I am in the process of getting a vehicle adapted for me, but I don't personally drive. I date people. I date women. I date men. I am not a vegetable. I talk. I have tattoos. Um, you know, yeah. I did just want to make this video to definitely let you guys know that if you have any questions, comments, or just anything, I'm an open book. I've always been an open book, so no question is too crazy. No question is too out of there. Cause baby, if you see my DMs, you would understand. It's too much. It's too much. That is all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Press the little bell to be posted to my post notifications.